Hey guys, Poro here with another MSI 2023 video, and we're finally into the bracket stage at MSI. The first BO5 matchup we get to see is G2 versus Gen G. This isn't the first international BO5 we've seen between these teams, as G2 swept Gen G 3-0 at Worlds 2020 in quarterfinals. It's a lot different this time around though, as Gen G is the first seed coming out of an extremely dominant LCK, whereas G2 had to make their way through play-ins as the LEC 2 seed. It's been a while since we've gone over these two teams, so I'll give player and team breakdowns again before heading into my predictions. Gen G may be representing as the LCK 1 seed, but it wasn't an easy or convincing path there up until the finals. Gen G finished 13-5 in regular season, tied with KT for second place heading into playoffs. At this point, Gen G was expected to finish third due to T1 finishing a dominant 18-1 and KT beating Gen G at both of their regular season series. In playoffs, Gen G played only 4-game series, beating HLE 3-1, losing to T1 3-1, beating KT 3-1, and then beating T1 in the finals again to win 3-1 for the last time. In the top lane is Doran, a player who was criticized for much of the regular season. He had an extremely strong showing in finals, but some people still have doubts of how he can perform if his Gragas is banned from him. Doran spent most of the season playing utility champions and tanks, with his Jace pick being somewhat unconvincing. In the jungle is Peanut, a multi-season dominant jungler and one of the greats of all time. Peanut has also been criticized for his play in the past few splits, and he's mostly been playing facilitators such as Sejuani, Wukong, Maokai, and Vi. However, it is important to note that Peanut was once known for his carry Nidalee performances, boasting a 65% win rate on 58 games in his career. If Nidalee remains a meta pick for the bracket stage, we might get to see the Peanut of the past again. In mid lane is Chovy, who is known as one of the greatest laners to ever touch the game. His playstyle usually includes absurdly high CS per minute numbers, and he rarely ever drops waves to roam. Chovy has been playing a lot of pick mages like Ahri, Lissandra, and LeBlanc, but he was also one of the first to bring out mid K'Sante in pro play, and he's also known as the best Yone player on the Korean server, so keep an eye out for those. Gen G's ADC is Paze, a rookie superstar who has been super hyped for the past couple of years. While Paze can sometimes choke a big moment and lose Gen G the game, he has also shown the potential to 1v9, especially in finals, and can definitely go down as one of the greatest ADCs of all time in the future if he develops well enough. It's mostly just been the standard late game hypercarry ADCs for him in playoffs. His support is Delight, one of the supports in the LCK that many thought were elo held on Fred Brion for multiple years. He's been showing up big time for this roster with a solid combination of both enchanters and engagers in his champion pool. G2 dominated Winter Split and swept Mad 3-0 in playoffs to earn their MSI qualification early, but struggled a bit more in spring and finishing only 4th place in playoffs. This result has led some people to question the LEC format and if G2 even deserves to be at MSI, but others have been advocating for G2, citing that they might have underperformed due to lack of pressure put on them in spring. We got to see some of G2 in play-ins, and while it was a 4-0 road to the bracket stage, their play wasn't quite as polished as what we saw in Winter. Broken Blade came into MSI as what many considered one of the worst laners in LEC, but one of if not the best mid to late game player and team fighters as well. Many people criticize his ability to farm minions that should be free in lane, but everyone praises VB for what he does after lane is over. We saw his mid to late game prowess in play-ins with some crazy 1v9 highlight moments, and his laning went pretty well too. He hasn't played against a major reach in top laner yet though, so we'll have to see how it goes for him in these next couple weeks. Yike is another superstar rookie who replaced Jankos in the jungle, and he plays a lot of unique carry picks extremely aggressively. Graves, Kindred, Bel'Veth, Lilia, Nidalee, and Kha'Zix are just some of the carries you have to worry about when facing him. He loves to cross-map and invade a lot with high enemy jungle proximity, which can sometimes net G2 early insane leads, but has also cost them a few games due to getting caught out. Everyone knows Caps, who's debatably the overall Western greatest of all time. This split has seen Caps take a step back as he's been playing a lot of mid lane facilitators to help Yike out. Sejuani, Malphite, Zac, and Nautilus mid have been a large part of Caps' game, but he still whips out the standard mages from time to time. G2's bot lane sees the reunion of the 2018 Misfits bot lane of Hansama and Mickey X. Both players have seen plenty of success in international tournaments in the past. Hans plays a lot of hyper carries, but he also has fearsome Draven and Kalista games where he can simply run over the enemy and win by 10 minutes. Mickey X is also great on the majority of champions, but his most impressive this split have been Nautilus and Heimerdinger. G2's drafting also has to be noted here, as they are extremely unpredictable with a lot of unique champions and flex picks that can come out at any moment. So with those out of the way, how do these teams match up in my eyes? Well, I think Gen G is definitely a better matchup for G2 out of the two LCK teams. Jovi's habit of not dropping waves could be a large detriment against Caps' extreme low economy roaming playstyle, and Doran might not have the firepower to punish BB's lane phase. Yike also probably will be controlling the tempo of the game early against Peanut. That said, Gen G should still be viewed as the overall favorite in this one. It's the LEC 4th place team who showed shaky moments in play-ins versus the LCK 1 seed. I don't see G2 as having a favorable matchup in any role, and I don't see a world where G2 ever wins a game if they fall behind. Their only hope is to snowball early, but snowballing against the LCK has always proven difficult. I would love to see G2 win as a big fan of Western teams, but I've got Gen G winning this series with 80 to 20 odds, and I think it will likely be a 3-1 or a 3-0 sweep. That's all I've got for this one, and I'll see you guys with more predictions later. Bye!